Hello my dear students, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we are going to learn a class 10 English chapter, The Girl Who Was Annie Frank. Part 1 of this chapter will be seeing today and the rest in the other videos. So we shall proceed it. But before that, students, if you are viewing my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notifications of all the upcoming videos. Do watch the video till end, and if you like it, hit the like button and share with your friends. So this chapter about the Annie Frank, let us see what does it say. So it starts like this. And how do you know that the human race is worth saving? An argumentative young student once asked his professor. Said the professor, I have read Anne Frank's diary. Okay, so here the lesson starts as from the classroom where a professor and a student was argumentative uh, statement was going on, wherein the students say that how do you know that human race is worth saving? Why should we save the human race? How is it helpful? How it is valuable? So the professor says that I have read Annie Frank's diary. Okay, so this whole chapter is on Annie Frank. So first let us see who is this Annie Frank and what is her diary about. So second point, how this diary of a teenage girl came to be written and saved is a story as dramatic as the diary itself. No one foresaw the tremendous impact that the small book would have, not even her father, who had it published after Anne's death in Nazi concentration camp. Okay, so this diary is of one teenage girl, and she wrote it. And this small diary, which was published later on, became a very big drama in its dramatic message it was giving. And nobody ever thought that this small diary, a small book, would bring a such impact on a society or in the world. Not even her father had thought before publishing it. And this was published after Anne's death, after she died, and she died in Nazi concentration camp. Now, what is this Nazi and what is Nazi concentration camp? So, during World War II, you know that Hitler came to the rule, and his party and his rule was known as Nazism. He ruled from Germany, and then later on, he wanted to extend his power throughout the world and throughout the country and the world, and wanted to become more powerful with that country. So, with that purpose, he had made many very, you can say, very strict rules which were very inhuman. And there he treated the people very badly. So, one such concentration camp where the people were put into death, a kind of camp was there. There, this girl was put into death, like Nazi concentration camp which was overlooked by this Nazism, was under the rule of this Nazis. Okay, so here this girl who was trapped here in this concentration camp. She died here, and there she started writing diary when she was alive. So let us see in detail what do we have to learn, what message we are getting from this chapter and from her diary. Okay, so the diary of Annie Frank has now been published in 19 languages, including German, and has sold nearly 2 million copies. Made into a play by Francis Goodrich and Albert Hackett, it won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama, and in 1956-57 season alone played in 20 different countries to 2 million people. In London, it ran for nearly 6 months at the Phoenix Theatre. 20th Century Fox turned it into a film. Okay, so this is about the diary of Anne Frank, how it was now being published in 19 different languages, including German and many other languages, and to about 2 million copies were sold. And this particular diary, or the article which was written by her, was converted into a drama by into a play by Francis Goodrich and Albert Hackett. Okay, these were the two persons who converted into play, and this won Pulitzer Prize for this thing for drama. Now, Pulitzer Prize is a very, you can say, a honorable prize given in the field of literature and drama. And then in 1956 and 57 alone, this play was played in 20 different countries with 2 million people watching it. And then in London also it ran for nearly 6 months in Phoenix Theatre. Okay, so it was such a hit on and a famous, it became so famous, and it was also later on turned into a film. Became a movie also. So this is about the introduction also, and to know or make you aware of who is Anne Frank and what is the diary about. How did it become so famous? Then, to understand this amazing response, it is necessary first to understand the girl who was Anne Frank. So, to know this everything in detail, we should first know who exactly was this girl, Anne Frank. Okay, so when Hitler came to power, Otto Frank was a banker living in Germany. He had married in 1925. In 1926, his first daughter Margot was born, and 3 years later, his second, Anneliese Marie. She was usually called Annie, sometimes Tender One. Okay, so here we get the information about her father. So during the time of Hitler, when he was in power, Otto Frank, a man who by named Otto Frank, who was a banker by profession, who lived in Germany, he had married in 1925, and the next year he got a daughter by named Margaret, and then later on, 3 years later, he got the second daughter, Anneliese Mary, and she was called by the nickname Annie, and also was known as Tender One. Okay, so this is the history. Like her father was Otto Frank, and her elder sister's name was Margot. In the autumn in 1933, when Hitler was issuing an one anti-Jewish decree after another, Otto Frank decided to emigrate to the hospitable Netherlands. He started a small firm in Amsterdam. Shortly before the outbreak of war, he took in a partner, Mr. Van Daan, a fellow refugee. Mostly they traded in spices. Business was often slow. Once Otto Frank was forced to ask his small staff to accept a temporary cut in their modest wages. No one left. They all liked his warm personality. They admired his courage and the evident care he took to give his two girls a good education. Okay, so a little bit more about Otto Frank, that in 1933, when Hitler was issuing one after the other anti-Jewish decrees, many rules and regulations he was making against the Jewish people, and this Anne Frank and the family of Anne Frank were Jewish. So when there were many laws made against Jewish people, and this family, they were living in Germany at that time. So Otto Frank decided to emigrate, to move from that city, to leave that city and move to Netherlands in Poland, in Amsterdam. Okay. So there he started a small firm in Amsterdam. He started his own small business. And then after the outbreak of war, he had also a partner with him, Mr. Van Dan. And he was a fellow refugee. Means he was also a Jewish, and he was also a refugee, as all he had also come from some other place, and he had taken shelter here as this family, Otto Frank, had taken, and they mostly did the trade in spices, and the business was really very slow. And once it happened that Otto Frank had asked his employers, the workers, to cut down in their modest wages, means whatever wages he was paying to them, he said, we'll have a cut in it, will not be able to pay you full because of the problem and the slow business. But nobody left from the job from there, because they liked his warm personality. He was such a kind person and a good person by character, and they admired his courage, the courage he had, and the way he took care of his two girls, and while and also giving them the good education. So he was also admired and liked by other people. Then, as a pupil, Annie was not particularly brilliant. Most people believed with her parents that Margaret, her elder sister, was more promising. Annie was chiefly remarkable for the early interest she took in other people. She was emotional and strong willed, a real problem child, her father once told me. A great talker and fond of nice clothes. Life in town, where she was usually surrounded by chattering crowd of girlfriends, suited her exactly. This was a lucky fact because the Frank family could only rarely afford a holiday. nor did they own a car. Okay, so here Annie was not particularly so brilliant, and also the parents believed that Margaret, that her elder sister, was more promising, more active, and Annie was not so good or took interest in other people or communicating to other people. She was emotional, kind of. She was strong-willed, and a real problem child was the word which was, or the phrase which was said by her father once. And a great talker and fond of nice clothes. She used to talk, and she was always fond of nice clothes, as always all girls like. And she also liked to live in a town, and she wanted to be surrounded by many of her friend circles. And that was a very lucky fact, or something which was very unusual for them, because they were not from such a well-to-do family, and they could not afford a holiday to go and spend like this, and they did not even own a car. This shows that they were from a middle class family, not so poor, not so rich. Okay, so in this way, she was being mentioned in her family. Then, when the Nazis invaded the Netherlands in May 1940, the Franks were trapped. Earlier than most Jews in Amsterdam, Otto Frank realized that the time might come when he and his family would have to go into hiding. He decided to hide in his own business office, which faced one of Amsterdam's tree-lined canals. A few derelict rooms on the upper floors, called the Annex, were secretly prepared to house both the Frank and the Vanden families. So now Nazis also invaded the Netherlands in 1940, where this Otto Frank had immigrated and been settled there. And here Otto Frank realized now there's a time when he and his family has to go hiding. There's no other option, because if once they're trapped, they will be put to death. So he decided to just hide his family in his business office where he was doing. There was a secret, you can say, annex which was made, when sickness secret room which was made, and there he and the family of Van Dan, both the families, stayed there. They hid themselves there. Early in July 1942, Margaret Frank was called up for deportation, but she did not go. Straight away, the Franks moved into their hiding place, and then the Van Dans followed shortly afterwards. 4 months later, they took into their camped lodgings another Jew, a dentist. So in 1942, Margaret Frank was called upon for deportation. Now, deportation is moving from a normal place to a concentration camp, but she somehow managed, and she did not go, and she did just move into a hiding place where um after some days, even Vanden's family followed there, and after 4 months, there was a doctor, a dentist, who was also a Jew, who came there to hide himself. Okay, so like this, they were hiding themselves from the Nazi parties. Songbird in hiding. There were 800 people. Any sound and light might betray their presence. A tenuous link with the outside was provided by the radio and by four courageous members of Otto Frank's staff. Two of them typists, who in secret brought food, magazines, books. The only other company they had was a cat. So here they are saying that there were total 8 people. They were being hunted by the Nazis, and there were 8 people who were living in that annex, that is hidden room, secret room. And if they make any kind of sound, or if any light which goes out outside, then they will be caught. And they had to be very careful there. The only link, the teeniest link, means the only one link which they had from the outside world, from the house, was from the radio which they were able to listen. And there were four courageous members of Otto Frank's staff who were working there. They helped them. Two of them were typists, and who they bought the seafood secretly for them, even some magazines and books. That is how they lived there, they hid it themselves and lived there for at least 2 years. Okay, and the only one more company was cat. That's it. Then, while in hiding, Annie decided to continue a diary which her parents had given her on her 13th birthday. Now, Annie starts writing a diary which she had got as a gift from her parents during her 13th birthday. Now, she described the life of Annex, where she was hiding and living. She started writing everything there, with all the inevitable tensions and quarrels. whatever tensions and everything problems was being faced and which was unavoidable, everything was written in her diary by her. And she created first and foremost a wonderfully delicate record of adolescence, sketching with complete honesty and young girls' thoughts and feelings, her longing and loneliness. She started writing the diary and she started explaining her each and everything, like her thoughts, her feelings, her desires, her loneliness, how she's feeling, the kind of pain they are undergoing, everything she started writing like a matured goal there. Okay. I feel like a songbird whose wings have been brutally torn out and who is flying in utter darkness against the bars of its own cage. So, this is the sentence which was used by her to write, and this shows that she is now turning into adolescence and she can write such a beautiful words to describe herself, the condition that they were going on through, like a songbird who has wings but it is brutally torn off, cut off, and she is not able to fly. She's flying in utter darkness now, and it is against the bars of its own cage. She's living inside her own cage, she's not able to fly, and she's been caught. So that was the situation, and so beautifully she had expressed her thoughts there. Okay. She wrote when she had been isolated from outside world for nearly 16 months. Okay, she wrote this when she was nearly 16 months caught in that annex. It was almost 1.5 years. 2 months later, she had filled every page of the diary, a small book bound in a tartan cloth, and one of the typist, Mape, gave her an ordinary exercise book. Later, she used Margot's chemistry exercise book. Now here she got a diary which was full. Now the maid who was a typist in her father's office, he gave her one ordinary exercise book and she started writing in that. Then later on she also took Margot's chemistry exercise book and there she started to fail. And then here, her diary reveals the trust she puts in a wise father, how she trusted her father, and her grief, and everything was written in it. Whatever her feelings were about the family, about her own self, about the friends who, along with whom she lived in the next year, she just wrote everything like a mature and a courageous girl. Now she had gone up in an adolescent's age. Okay, so this is how she started mentioning each and everything in her diary. Then on a slip of paper, Annie wrote fake names which she intended to use in case of publication. Then she did not wanted her own name to be highlighted or published. She wrote some fake names, other names, pen names to be written after her diary if it gets publicated. Then for the time the diary was her own secret which she wanted to keep from everyone, especially from the grumpy dentist. Now she wanted to just hide this diary and keep it for herself. She did not wanted to share her writings because it was her personal diary, and she just share it in her. She just had to keep it safely. So she had one small briefcase which her father had given to, and he allowed her to put all her diaries in that briefcase. So she kept it there, and because there was a very small room and very small tiny bed, she did not wanted to share this writings with anybody, so she just kept it in the briefcase. And he never, the father did not read until after her death. It was kept in the father's briefcase. He allowed her to keep the diary in his briefcase, but he never read the diary of Anne Frank until after her death. He just read only when she died later on. Now, on August 4, 1944, one German and the four Dutch Nazi policemen suddenly stormed upstairs. "Where are you? Where are your money and jewels?" they shouted. Mrs. Frank and Mrs. Van Den had some gold and jewelry. It was quickly discovered. Looking round for something to carry it in, one of the policemen noticed Otto Frank's briefcase. He emptied it into the floor, barely giving a glance at the notebooks. Then the people of Annex were arrested. So here, somehow, these people, the Germans, came to know that they are hiding in this annex, and they went there. They captured Mrs. Frank and Mrs. Van Den, whatever belongings they were having, the gold, the jewelry, everything. They took it from them and took. keep that in to carry that, they just have found a briefcase, that is Otto Frank's briefcase, in which all the Anne's diary was kept. They just emptied by throwing all the books down without even having a glance at it, but what is the book about, and they kept all the belongings and they move away from there. And they also arrested the people who were hiding there. Then, in the beginning, the Allied armies were rapidly approaching to the Netherlands. The Franks and the Vandens and the Dentists were carried in cattle trucks to the Auschwitz, the Nazi death camp in southern Poland. So they were all carried to the concentration camp that was death camps, you can say. There, the Nazis separated the Otto Frank from his wife and the daughters without giving them time to say farewell. Means the men and the women were separated from each other, and Frank, Annie, and Margot were marched into women's part of the camp, wherein Mrs. Frank died from exhaustion. She could not withstand all these things and she died there. And then it was followed by the Van Dan and the dentist too. Even they lost their lives in that camp. Then Annie proved to be courageous. She tried to live somehow, and when she had nothing to eat, she was having so much of dare and courage to go to the kitchen and ask for some food, and also asked Margot never to give up, and she also helped her. Once she passed hundreds of Hungarian Jewish children who were standing, and she also passed this foods to hundreds of Hungarian Jewish children. They were hungry, these Jewish children, and she gave them the food to eat. She passed them, and they were being treated so horribly that they were standing naked in freezing rain. And this is the condition of that concentration camp. And she could not bear all these things. She could not see this, and she tried to help them by passing at least something what she had with herself. Then later in autumn, she and her sister were transported to another camp, that is Belsen, between Berlin and Hamburg. And a close friend saw her there. One of the close friend who saw Annie and Margot there, they described that she was cold and hungry, her head shaved, and her skeleton-like form draped in coarse, shapeless stripped garb of the concentration camp. She was a pitifully weak, her body racked by typhoid fever. She died early in March 1945, a few days after Margot. Both were buried in a mass grave. So this is how they lost their life. They were treated so badly that they had turned into cold and hungry. Their heads were shaved. They had turned into skeleton. Such a pitiful condition it was. And this all was described by one of a friend who had seen. So like this, first Margot died, and after some days, even the Annie had died. In Auschwitz, Otto Frank had managed somehow to stay alive. He was freed early in 1945 by the Russians. In the summer, he arrived back in liberated Amsterdam. A friend had told him that his wife had died, but he kept on hoping that Annie and Margot would return. After 6 weeks of waiting, he met someone who had to tell him that both had perished. It was only then that Miep, his former typist, handed him Annie's diaries. So in 1945, in Auschwitz, that is again a concentration camp in Poland, there Otto Frank, that is father of Annie Frank, he managed to survive somehow. He was alive, and by the time the Russian had invaded and they freed these people from there, and they liberated the Amsterdam also. It was free from the Nazi rule now. And there, a friend told him, Otto Frank, that his wife had already died, but he was hoping that Margot and Annie would come back. But after 6 weeks, he all came to know that even they both had perished. They both are no more now. And then it was that time that me, the former typist who was typist in Otto Frank's firm, he handed him all the Annie's diaries which he had got. He had kept him safely, and he returned to Otto Frank. So now let us see what happened with this diary. Did the father read it? What did he do to publish it? How it got published and how did it become famous? This will be saying in the next part of the next video. I hope you all have understood this much of the chapter and it was interesting. If you found this video as interesting and informative, do hit the like button and share with your friends. We'll be back soon with the second part of the chapter. Till then, take care. Thank you.